Hey, everybody, welcome into another edition of 2911, a faith experience. And here we are, it's already December. Yeah? So we survived Christmas music before Halloween, Thanksgiving in a pandemic, and we're officially in the Christmas season with all the fixings. I mean, jingle bells and lights and snow. Snow in the South. Yeah, crazy, right? Not so crazy in 2020. But I'm excited about today's episode for two reasons. First, I get to introduce to you a wonderful friend with an incredible story to share. It's going to have a real impact on you and on your life, okay? And then two wonderful musical friends that will share a song that will, oh my goodness, it's going to bless you. So, right now is when I usually share some music to open the episode, but I'm going to save it for the end today because I want to dive right in. So here we go. I came across a post on social media from a friend of mine, and she was describing how she started a business about 7 years ago. Just a little side thing, but God moved, and He moved all over it and in it and around it. And in the process, did a thing in her life, an amazing thing. I can't even do justice to the story, so I'll just share it with you and bring her in to do that. Okay? Her name is Melanie Mosiki. Here's her story. First of all, Melanie Musiki, welcome to 2911, a faith experience. It's been a while since I've seen you and we've chatted, but hey, how are you?
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. God is good
He is all the time, and it's
all the
good to see
time.
you from way out west. Now, as you know, I'm in Knoxville, Tennessee, and you're just outside of Phoenix, Arizona. Is that right?
Yes. Yep.
Hot? Is it hot?
You know what? Just the same as 2020. The weather out here cannot make up its mind. So it got cold, and then it got hot, and then it kind of got cold again, then it got hot, and now we're kind of fallish right now. So
Okay,
bearable.
okay, okay. Now tell me what cold is, though, because cold is different in different places.
Well, in Northeast Oregon, it was like, in the teens would be cold. But I've acclimated to Arizona, so I think anything under like 70 degrees is probably cold for me.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I'm not talking Midwest cold.
No, and as a matter of fact, overnight last night here in Knoxville, it was 24.
Oh, no, you can keep it.
That's
I'm
crazy.
good.
It doesn't usually do that though. But anyway, I digress. Thanks for joining us here on 2911. Um, First, I just want to let everybody know who you are. We already know you're Melody Wasiki from Phoenix, Arizona. But tell me about you, like where you were born, um, from 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 born till now, and give me the elevator speech.
Yeah, the elevator speech. Gosh, so I was born in Northeast Oregon, so I'm used to colder weather and four seasons. Migrated through work, school and work from Idaho to California, and then eventually ended up here. So all West Coast states, very familiar with the West Coast.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, yeah, and then as a believer, I actually was born and raised LDS, and then fell away from that, and
Really?
then yeah, and then found Christ later in my adult years.
Yeah. Now that is interesting. We could go down a road with that and talk for a long time. But yeah, that's interesting. So I met you in Phoenix working with our mutual friend Charles Newman, who's the pastor of Crossroads out there, and love the ministry you guys have out there. Love your work in that ministry, and folks may or may not know, but you sing and you play guitar and you write music too. So that's how we connected. Okay, so tell me about Wrapped in the Word.
Okay, wrapped in the word. Funny story. So,
Okay.
wrapped in the word was literally a God thing. I had just come to Christ, and I was volunteering at the church that I was at the time. And we were having a craft night. So, we all had to pick a craft. And someone had found a craft on Pinterest that had, the glass balls, and they had paper mache Bible verses on it. And I was like, I want to do that. I was
Okay.
excited. And so I took to the internet to go find myself some tissue paper with a Bible verse on it, and it didn't exist. And so what they suggested was actually rip the pages out of your Bible. And I was like, that's the only option. We're going to have to do something else. So it kind of just stewed in me that how does this not exist? I mean, we have gift bags with Bible verses. We literally have everything with Bible verses on it. And the only tissue paper that existed, and I don't know who or why someone thought of this, was actually toilet paper with Bible verses on it. And I was like, yeah, I'm not sure I would have gone with that one. But yeah, it didn't exist. And so I started down the path. I really felt God like, and my relationship was really early. So it was kind of at the point where I wasn't sure if it was God or if it was me or whatever. But what I've learned with God is he will literally drive you crazy with something until, like, that's how he works with me. I will go insane if I don't do what it is that he's asking me to do.
Absolutely.
So I couldn't let it go because he just, I couldn't think. I couldn't, like, it was just take the next step, child. So I started down that process of trying to find out, do I need a patent? Like, how do I do this? You know, can you even print the Bible? Because I know there's copyright laws and plagiarism and all that stuff. So that's where I started walking down to figure out what was possible and how I could make this happen.
Okay.
I was not in any place whatsoever to financially. I think people think the timing has to be right. And what I found with God is the timing is almost always the worst freaking time. Like,
right.
That's when he moves. He's not going to wait till everything's great and you're trying to figure out, oh, I wonder if I should do something for God. No, he's going to interrupt wherever you're at and ask you to do something that makes no sense at all.
Yeah, that'll preach right
be
there.
obedient.
You could do sermons for months and months on timing and God. Yeah, it's God's timing is always right for him. We are the ones that got the problem. We're like, oh, wait a minute, can I wait till now? Yeah, okay, no.
Yeah. It was like, what? And where's this money coming from? I mean, I had to have minimum orders to be able to even do it. Like, I was just obstacle after obstacle, and then he just moved them one at a time.
Yeah.
Whatever the next one was, he just moved it.
So describe exactly what Wrapped in the Word looks like. Tell me exactly what it is.
Yeah, so what it is 20 by 30 inch premium tissue paper that has a John 3:16 design custom printed on it multiple times.
Okay.
And then I mix the packages so they're half printed and half white. So in a gift bag, you can mix them up because that's what I like to do.
Yeah.
Do a little print, do a little plain. And so you get 10 sheets in each package, and that is how it all started. I did branch out and make crafts with the tissue paper. You can wrap things in it. You can wrap candle holder, like decoupage it on the outside of a clear candle holder, and it transforms it into like a gift or something you could sell. I've done picture frames. So yeah, when I started in physical boutiques selling the paper and then the things I was making with the paper.
Wow. So I'm sure that as you were growing up, when you were a kid and then a junior high, high school, going through college and everything, I'm sure you thought to yourself, I'm going to start a business and my business is going to be wrapped in the Word. This is what I'm going to do. But I've been called to do this. This is what isn't that right? Isn't that right?
No. So partly, yes. So I always knew my stepfather raising us was an entrepreneur. So he had his own business. So I always had that drive. Us that had parents that were entrepreneurs always say that we're different because we experienced that. And almost always someone in the family will become an entrepreneur out of that. And that was me. So I always knew I would have my own thing. I didn't know what that thing was. So I went through a lot of MLMs trying to figure out what that thing was for me, because it's a divine purpose that's woven into your life.
Yeah.
And so you keep trying to find what it is that fits in that spot. And I think that's part of the learning and the journey, because each of those experiences, I learned what works for me and what doesn't, what is me and what isn't, so he uses everything, but no, it's not the path that I thought I would take.
Yeah, absolutely. Too. There are a couple of quotes that come to mind from Frederick Buechner. I'm maybe messing up his name, but one of those quotes says, vocation is the place where our deep gladness meets the world's deep need. And you found the need in the world. You were looking for it for yourself, actually, but you found the need in the world and you said, this thing doesn't exist. And then you were moved to create it. So now it does. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah. My initial thought when I started was, and I think part of it was being a new believer, was how can you share the word in a way that's hope and not like coming at you? And so I thought, how easy would it be to switch out the tissue paper at Christmas or a birthday or whatever with a Bible verse on it, with God 3:16 to let them know they were loved. And it was a way for people to share the gospel. I felt that wasn't intrusive for people maybe that didn't want to talk about it or didn't know how to talk about it, but a way to share hope and the message, just in a way I thought it would be easier for people to do. Yeah, it has been amazing. From the people that have ordered it for someone else have been impacted. It's been used in gift shops of stores to wrap things. It's been used at women events. And I think of how many hands it passed through even before it got to me. Like, I had to keep in mind that I don't know what God's purpose for this is. It's whatever he wants it to be. And it's for me to be obedient to what that is.
Yes.
And when I was in that season where nothing was really happening, I really had to come to terms that perhaps everything that was supposed to happen with that happened when the guys or girls working at the print shop made it. Maybe it was just for that one day, those people in the print shop, someone needed to see it, or someone, I don't know, but
Yeah.
that could have been it. So I have really been intentional about being okay with letting God let it be whatever it is, and
Mm.
not trying to put on, I had dreams of it being in Hobby Lobby and being in Hallmark stores when I
Right.
started. I thought this was like my ticket.
Yeah.
And I had to just come to terms with, it's not my anything. I'm just part of the process that's God's using, and I need to just be open for him to use it however he wants to. When I created this product, I did not have my own business. I was kind of in one MLM, but I didn't have my own thing.
Okay.
I wasn't sober. Like, there was a whole bunch of work that needed to be done on me to
Wow.
even get me to a place where I could have this conversation with you and not
Yeah.
be,
Yeah.
like actually have some depth and some
Right.
roots, to speak from.
Yeah.
And so, the quick journey is I get sober. I launch another business out of my marketing skill set that God had taught me through jobs and people I had been working with.
Right.
And so my main business is actually running online marketing. And I was doing lead gen when I started with this 3 years ago.
Uh-huh.
He moved me then into e-commerce. E-commerce fell in my lap. I got all the training, all the sources through one of my clients to get trained on how to run the store, how to run an e-commerce store, how to source products,
Yeah.
how to do manufacturing.
Yeah.
And then he's like, okay, put the tissue paper in a store, and I want you to bring in other Christian artists.
And by the way, I set it up so you'll know e-commerce.
Exactly. Like,
It's
what? Like, I just got chills right now. Like, that
yeah.
was God moving the entire time. And so he put the actual selling of the tissue paper on hold, like, as far as a priority or anything, so I could learn how to build the foundation for it to be bigger. Because I don't know if anyone's noticed, but the big box retailers are going away. There isn't going to be a Hallmark store. There isn't, Hobby Lobby's not, people aren't shopping. They're shopping online. And
Yes.
that's what he was teaching me.
Yes. That's amazing. That is amazing. I'm gonna have to have.
And I think God has made me think bigger too, because I was just thinking, I want to be in the Hobby Lobby. I want to be in the Hallmark store. And now I hear God telling me, you are going to be the Hobby Lobby. You are going to be the Hallmark store, because I'm specifically focused on Bible verse inscribed gifts. Nothing else. If it doesn't have a Bible verse on it, we're not going to carry it.
Yeah.
Like, that's the vision God has given me, to be that lighthouse for people to be able to gift the gospel.
I love that. I love that. I love that. So there it is. All right, real quick, tell me about, I guess, how your business melds your gifts and your passions with the needs that are in the world.
Yeah, so I run an e-commerce store, giftthegospel.com, and I had tried before to launch the tissue paper in its own store, but it's hard to justify and manage and drive traffic to a website that has one single product. So that was about a year ago. Quickly decided that's not working. I started on Etsy and eBay, with eBay getting the most traction.
Okay.
And so for the last 2 years, all the sales have come off of eBay. And then again, went through that period where I really learned e-commerce well, started working with multiple e-commerce stores. And then because of, for one, client in particular, I was actually CMO of all of her marketing, and it's a 7-figure skincare brand. So I learned everything from emailing to upsells to how the Shopify store works, like all of it.
Yeah.
And so literally, we're not even 2 weeks into launching this store. So I've been under heavy spiritual pressure, which started probably a little bit before COVID even hit. So this has been on top of COVID, but we have gone through multiple situations of things that just don't make sense. I got super sick and was in the hospital for multiple days. We had to move out of our house. 2 of our dogs died within a week. We've had car accidents. We've had random weird bills show up that shouldn't. It is literally just one thing after another. At the same time, I was walking through another thing that God has asked me to do, which is write a guided journal on putting on the armor of God. So between stepping out in that and getting a publisher and having that process going and everything, it's just been a lot of pressure. And I, quite honestly, for a couple months was just in a really dark place, because you have to put on the armor of God if you're going to go into battle, because otherwise it's just you going into battle
Right.
and the enemy is going to beat you down every time.
Mm-hmm.
And so I retreated and just kind of went in my hole. Was like, I don't want to go do things for God anymore because it's scary and bad things keep happening to me and my family. And so God had to work on me in that space for a minute to give me, reprogram the mind, get my head back in the word, get my understanding on that I am a child of God, walking out things that he has asked me to do, not things that I'm doing for myself. Right. Therefore, I am under his protection and I need to get back up. And so in that, I was like, okay, I need to do something with this tissue paper. I see all these other Christian sellers that are trying to make it on, Etsy and eBay. They don't know how to market. I know how to market. So why don't I go find these people that sell Bible inscribed gifts, put them in my store, which makes sense. Here's the gifts. Here's the wrapping paper. People can buy either or.
It's all there.
And then everything's there. So it can be your one-stop shop if you're looking for something with a Bible verse on it, which is gifts that we give to each other in the restoration classes. Bible verses are so powerful because every person has ones that mean different things to them. So we even have things that you can pick your Bible verse and inscribe whichever one you want. So you can personalize it. So that was the thought. Let it be a one-stop shop. I'll use my, what God has taught me about marketing and driving sales and advertising for e-commerce store. And let's let God use it in a big way.
Yeah.
Put all of these resources together. So it helps the sellers because I'm paying full price for their items. I'm not getting wholesale discounts at this point because we're new. Yeah. And so they get what they're asking for. They get exposure. Their products reach people. My tissue paper is selling right along with it. And so I just want to, get it down and grow it from here. Because this is the infant stage right now. We are a baby seed.
Yeah, that is amazing. It's wonderful to hear you talk about that. I want to make sure as we're wrapping up, you're letting everybody know exactly where they can find your products, where they can find this website, where they can find all of the other, the folks you're partnering with and the products that they are creating and providing. But just real quick, stepping out on faith, doing it when everything says, I can't do this. How are you able to do that?
I am a tried and true people pleaser my whole life. Okay. I just am a good girl and I'm a people pleaser. But the problem was before I went through restoration and healed the parts of me that were broken, I was trying to please everybody. And I had no filter on who was good and who was bad. And my discernment was non-existent. And so when I came to, I can trust in God, then now I put all of my focus to people please God. And everybody else is just noise. Like they can give me input and some of it is wisdom if I go to the right people, but I filter it all through what is God asking me to do because I can rely on him.
Are you serious right now? I've never heard that. And that is amazing. I'm a people pleaser and rather than putting that energy towards people, put it towards God. Oh my God. Right. That's amazing. Melanie.
The most important thing has to be to hear at the end of the journey, well done, my good and faithful servant. I don't care. I don't need to hear that from anyone else, but I need to hear that from him.
Oh, okay. We're gonna wrap it up with that. Melanie, tell everyone where they can find your website, your products, your social media, all that stuff you know about. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we only sell the products online at giftthegospel.com. Also on Instagram and Facebook at Gift the Gospel. All of the products in there, in the descriptions, it tells you the seller, it tells where they're shipping out of, it tells all of the information for how long it's going to take and everything. So if you order multiple things, they may be coming from multiple artisans, but everything is in there. Again, they get full price for whatever they're asking is what they get paid. And yeah, it's a win-win-win for everybody.
Oh my goodness, Melanie.
Especially the kingdom.
Especially the kingdom. The kingdom gets the win. The kingdom already has the victory. We the ones that holding stuff up with our craziness. So,
yeah.
Melanie, thank you for being here at 2911. You are an incredible blessing to so many people with everything you're doing, with your testimony, with your journey that you're willing to share. I'm glad that you were with us today. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you so much for having me. I've gone through a lot, and every time I get to share about it, that's my story being redeemed. So I never turn any opportunities down because I want that to keep happening. Yes, it needs to be worth it.
Giftthegospel.com. Love it, love it. Melanie, thank you again.
All right, thanks.
I mean, just wow. There's so much for all of us there about trusting God, about listening for God's voice in our lives, about focusing not just on ourselves and inward, but on God and whatever God shines a spotlight on for us to focus on outward. Then there's using your gifts in the world. Of course, you always hear me say, and I firmly believe, that the gifts that God has placed in each of us, those are God's gift to the world through us. And without a doubt, Melanie is using her gifts in the world and blessing so many. It's amazing. Thanks again, Melanie Mosiki, giftthegospel.com. Okay. All right. Now for the second thing I want to share with you. Really excited about this. My musical friends, Jay and Kennedy Newsom, you've been talking about them. They have decided as a Christmas gift to the world, they will be sharing a holiday song every Friday during this time to celebrate the season. So I'm sharing that with all of you right now. And this song has a couple of really remarkable connections. It's one of my favorite holiday songs. I'm sure you've heard it before. It's originally recorded by Whitney Houston on the soundtrack of the movie The Preacher's Wife. Yeah, you're nodding already. You know what this is. But here's a connection. It was co-written by a friend of mine who lives right here in Knoxville. His name is Halloran Hilton Hill. He's an incredible brother, great singer-songwriter, and a minister in this area. So here's Jay and Kennedy, and they're going to share with us, Who Would Imagine a King?
But who would imagine a king? It was so clear when the wise men arrived and the angels were singing your name, that the world would be different, 'cause you were alive. That's why heaven stood still to proclaim. One day an angel said quietly that soon he would bring something special to me, and of the wonderful gifts he could bring. Who would imagine? Who could imagine? Who would imagine a
What can you say? But thank you, Kennedy, and thank you, Jay. You guys are amazing. Who would imagine a king? Love it. And of course, thanks to Melanie Mosiki. Make sure you check out her Bible-based digital marketplace. It's at giftthegospel.com. Okay, I'm gonna spend all my money there because it's some great stuff there. Giftthegospel.com. Wonderful. And that's it for this edition of 2911, A Faith Experience. Please don't forget to like, follow, subscribe, share, all that social media stuff. We're here on Facebook. Also the YouTube channel. If you search 2911, A Faith Experience, you will find it. I thank you so much for just supporting this digital collective and this digital ministry. Do not forget what I always wrap up with. Maya Angelou said this: people might forget what you say, and people might forget what you do, but they will never forget how you made them feel. So let's go out in the world today and make someone feel God's love. That's right. Have a wonderful rest of the day, a wonderful rest of the week. We'll see you next time.